Okay, everybody, I'm on live. I tell you, uh, working this stuff, trying to get everything together, sometimes it's quite an interesting journey. And I hope that people will be joining me live today. Tried to get it out as fast as I could to everybody. This is Clear Blue Radiance. Today's date is February the 1st, 2024. And it's a new month. Before you know it, it'll be March. Say happy birthday to everybody that's out there. And if this is your birth month, if you're in Aquarius or coming up later in Pisces, may you have a glorious day. Many of you know that this is my podcast, Clear Blue Radiance, where I've been a spiritual counselor for 40 plus years. I enjoy helping people such as yourself gain greater clarity in your life and also discover what your purpose is. Our purpose changes every time we change. Every time we change here and change in our heart, and we're reaching forward to do bigger and better things, then we are moving ahead in our life. Now, I was going to repeat one of my previous episodes. Good afternoon, Barbara. I was going to repeat one of my previous episodes, and then all of a sudden, because this is the African American History Month starting, the amazing thing is I see a celebrity, and he's a part of my title. I tell you, these titles and topics come. Greetings, Jackie. These titles and topics are popping up on me. So here's today's title. You don't have to be famous like Amos. Let your compassion be your passion, and you will have many blessed breakthroughs. So here's mine. When I was out earlier today doing some errands and picking up something, um, he popped into my head. And I said, I wonder what that guy is doing. So I'm gonna give you a little historical brief background about the famous cookie maker, famous Amos. He's a well-known cookie maker. Hey, how you doing? He's Deborah McQueen. Um, He, famous Amos, as he was called, is a well-known cookie maker from the 1970s with his cookie brand, Famous Amos, and later Kahuna Cookies. That's when he moved out into Hawaii. His real name is Wallace Wally Amos, born July 1st, 1936. So right now he's 87. He's still on the planet, and he was born in Tallahassee, Florida. Now, this is what I didn't know about him. He became a talent agent, one of the first African American talent agents for William Morris Agency. And he was the first guy to sign up Simon and Garfunkel as their talent agent. He later represented the Temptations, Sam Cooke, Marvin Gaye, and Helen Reddy. And this was all back in the late 1960s through the 1970s. So, as my topic says, you don't have to work so hard to become famous like Amos. Let your compassion be your passion, and you will have many blessed breakthroughs. Well, many times, compassion is one of the keys, and one of your keys. Basically, it means that you have a heart for your fellow human beings. You have a heart. We have a heart for children. We have a heart for animals. We have a heart for seniors. We have a heart for our neighbors. We have a heart for, in other words, we have this inner loving gratitude, this inner loving sense, this antenna that reaches out. People who have fur babies in their house, like cats and dogs, those people, most of them are very compassionate people. Why? Because you have to be able to facilitate things for the fur baby. They can't talk of the tail by the tip of the head. how their body is, how they're moving around you. You have to determine, are they hungry? Are they thirsty? Do they want to go for a walk? Do they want to play? They'll let you know if they want to play. They get their favorite toy. They'll wake you up. Everybody knows a cat will climb right on your chest and stare at you until you wake up, gently pour you to wake up. So having them around produces that I'll say the nutrients, the spiritual nutrients in yourself that makes you a compassionate being, which means you care for your fellow neighbor, family member, niece, nephew, grandparent, grandkids. You favor them because you're hoping that what you have done and will do for them makes them succeed. So not just succeed because they got money, not just succeed because they got a nice house, they went after a big house, got a big car, got a great job, because they are succeeding as citizens of the world. They are getting along with other people. They are compassionate. They're passionate about seeing themselves grow and the people around them grow. We all get excited when we see the young ones make history. And we see some angelic young ones in the last 10, 15 years populating the planet as musicians at a very early age, singers at a very early age, and not just R&B. Some of them are singing jazz. Some of them are doing classical operatic style music, like a seasoned pro. We see them, artists on the planet, not just choreographers and filmmakers, but true artists naturally. And of course, those who come in visually impaired, they got talent way up here. Like the young man Michael Whitaker, he's an adult now, but he was born legally blind, taught himself how to play piano on a children's piano. His parents saw that and gave him lessons, and he took off. And he could play anything. So I just bring that as a living example. We always want to ensure in the youth to do the right thing. Do the right thing by themselves, their elders, their siblings, their family members, their community, you name it. And especially when they're in an environment where they can grow. So this is very important. And when you're compassionate, it also means that you're enthusiastic about life and living it, feeling good about yourself. And you have this willingness to make your surroundings better. And as you do, you become blessed. And I like to say, as divine grace enters your life with ease. Now, here's one of the things you got to know about grace or divine grace. It's not something that's born outside yourself, it's something that you arrive on the planet with. It's in you, enriching you in every moment. Even if you have difficulties as a child because you're choosing as a soul personality and as your higher self, you're choosing certain conditions with parents and elders and friends to help mold you in a certain way, to help put certain hurdles in your life so you can have a breakthrough. Because every day we're having a breakthrough. We don't realize it that moment to moment we are having a breakthrough. Something is going on in your life, you're trying to figure it out. Big puzzle piece financially, you're trying to figure out how to pay the bills, you're trying to figure out how to, if you got a house, how to fix it up, where to get the best deal. If you got a car, you want to try to take care of it. Got a bike, want to take care of it. You got a partner in the house, you want to make sure you and the partner get along. If you don't have a partner, you are the partner. You got to make sure you're okay, so you are working diligently at becoming a better being on in this world. First and foremost, we're not really a physical being. This is the energetic form that we all have agreed to, billions and gazillions of higher selves and souls, the lower part of the higher self, come together and say, we're going to create this energy that permits a human form with a right and a left arm and hand, right and a left arm and legs, right, feet, hands, working feet, a body with bones and blood and nerves and everything else imaginable that's needed to move through this earthly plane, no matter what the time of day it is, no matter what the seasonal change is. So we learn how to recognize our power of creativity. And we learn to recognize along the way that somehow the principle of grace is ruling our lives. Many of you have heard growing up, if you grew up in a church setting, elders would greet each other. Elder mothers and the elder fathers in the church would greet each other and ask each other, well, how are you doing, sister so and so? How are you doing, elder brother so and so? And you might have heard the phrase something like this: I'm blessed and highly favored. And I used to ponder that question because I remember growing up in church, I didn't see all the elders not necessarily have, not necessarily treat others correctly outside of the church. So I used to ask my mother, well, how can that person say they are highly blessed, highly favored, and blessed? How is that? And my mother did her best to explain to me that not everybody is perfect. Some people perform well in church, but outside they don't. You get to see them sometimes, if not behind closed doors, you get to see them doing what they actually do. And so we find ourselves striving to make some kind of change in our lives. And it's left us, excuse me, tongue tied. I get excited and I get tongue tied. It is left up to each one of us to make a change with ourselves so that we brighten the world around us. But in order to brighten your world around you, because it says you don't have to be famous like Amos, you have to let your compassion be your passion. You have to find ways to become more positive. Now, there's a big thing happening that has always been with the metaphysical community. There are people beyond the metaphysical, spiritual, and psychic realms are now getting these words and they're playing on them. They're making a lot of money off of it, which it took us years to develop. Okay. So people are selling the ticket of grace to you, but you were born with it. Someone is telling you, oh, I got an easier way of opening up the third eye. Not necessarily, because that third eye is should be as big as this gemstone, but it's smaller. But it acts like a huge gem in your brain. We have chakras in the body. We've got there's all kind of yogic disciplines that will open you up. And I remember when I was first studying yoga, that people tried to tell me it was the devil's work. Why you want to do that? When I was studying Tai Chi as a younger man, oh, that's the devil's work. Oh, it comes from that country. That's the devil's work. Yet they were complaining of back problems, neck problems, joint problems, swellingness in their feet, or they were doing something that was very addictive to their body and very harmful. Yet, what I was doing that was improving my life was demonic. But I had to develop compassion for those people who were constantly attacking me. And I learned that I didn't always have to, take a stance about everything. All I had to do was be consistent in what I was doing to make myself better. And then run across some of those same people 20 years later and have them tell me they were jealous when they saw me doing such and such. They were angry when they saw me out there trying to do this funny looking, slow movement exercise. And now they are doing it. And now they approach me with, hey, What is that thing called again? I just started studying these things. But I remember when we were like in college age and you were home for the summer, you were practicing this funny looking thing. And then they said, well, now I'm doing it. Hey, welcome to the club. When we do things without looking for a reward, that's what grace is. You don't have to advertise that you are doing these things. Why? Because the mindset is already radiating energy. Your brain is radiating energy all the time. Your ideas about yourself, your concepts about yourself, how you perceive who you are is radiating all the time. It's making an impression. And when it makes an impression, it disturbs the atmosphere in a very subtle way. So if someone is angry around you, or even if you're angry, you can almost test this. Get yourself a glass of water and write a label or a piece of paper on there or underneath the glass, and I want you to project the word anger, and then put the emotions behind it on that paper, what you wrote, and put a glass of water on there. And if you had a magnifying glass, but you could actually check it yourself, you might notice that the water tastes different after being in a glass of water, sitting on a piece of paper, infused with anger. Give it about 7 hours. Hey, we'll talk entertainment. Yes, you leave an etheric impression. So if somebody's angry all the time, now they could be angry at you for something, but they're also getting that energy in their auric field. And the first thing I will tell you, it's not so much their anger being shot out at you, the blood starts changing. The blood cells start looking irregular over a long period of time. There's an imbalance that sets up in their system. Mucus is created in their system. They're constantly coughing all the time. Now, if you're on the receiving end, you start wheezing. Eventually, you are wheezing. Why? Because that energy is seeped into your auric field, seeped into the pores of your skin, and now it's running around in your body. That's why I used to say, we'll talk. You used to remember, let's be careful when we're out. Let's be careful where we go eating at to get a bite to eat. Because if we walk into a place and the manager or the owner is arguing with the cook, the waiter, and the waitress, and especially the cook, all that negativity from the both of them goes into the food that's being prepared. And now that food is being served, no matter what it is being infused with somebody's anger about something. It is infused with the energy in someone's thoughts and emotions. And the poor customer doesn't know that, is not ingesting the food alone, they're ingesting all that negativity by way of their mouth, their taste buds, their saliva, most importantly. Because whatever's in the saliva, it's going to get into the bloodstream. That goes, if you're angry about your day, don't cook. Don't you do any cooking for yourself. Wait till you chill out. Yes, Deborah. Take care of yourself and have a pleasant day, okay? So it's amazing when we feel these things and we see these things, and these things are happening all the time. So that's why it's important if you're around somebody and you get to their home and they're angry, don't eat anything. I'm quite sure you used to remember your grandparents used to say, or your parents when you were a child, they would ask you, where'd you get that from? You might be coming in with a cookie, a lollipop. Where you get that from? Oh, I got this from Mr. So and so, Miss So and so. I went to such and such a little corner store and I got it. And they would say, "Let me see that," and then tell you, "Throw it away." And you think, "Well, why they tell me to throw it away? I spent a nickel, a dime, a quarter for this thing." They're saving you health, saving your life, saving your health because you're about to ingest something that has another energetic, etheric print on it that has nothing to do with you. It is the same thing with clothing. Clothing has an energetic imprint on it. Now, if you get clothes from a thrift store, if you don't wash them clothes or put them clothes in the dryer, you're gonna pick up everybody else's energy that's ever worn them clothes. You got to get a pair of shoes, buy them new. Don't go to these shops with someone else done put them up there on the shelf and all they did was polish the shoes because you'll be walking around in another person's illness. Eventually, it's going to get into your system. It is the same thing that I tell people sometimes when they talk about grounding. It's okay to ground, but be careful where you're doing the grounding at. Are you familiar with the area that you're grounding, that you're walking barefooted on? Pulverized glass, urine from cats, dogs, other wild animals in the street? Are you familiar with the mud carrying that vibration? Even if it's dry now, it's going to carry the dried version. And you're going to absorb it through the pores of your skin, through the soles of your feet. Why? Because the pores of your skin and the on the soles of your feet and then your hands, they're going to absorb more energy than along your body and along your face. But I bring these things up because sometimes we are not aware. We're not paying attention. We're not like the ancient ancestors who had to walk the face of the earth in bare feet and got their feet to be highly calloused, where the soles of their feet were so callous, it was like a shoe, like leather. Therefore, they could walk for miles, nothing bothering them. We're not like that. So, all this is about energy. It's all about the working of internal to the external expression of the internal energy. Granted, when we take on a job for someone else, we have to work hard, so to speak, to make that job work, unless you understand the internal workings of how that job or company survives. But when you're working for yourself, you work almost in the beginning doubly, triply as hard as if you were employed by someone else. Because you work Monday through Friday and a half a day Saturday, or you work Monday through Thursday and a half a day Friday, or you work on weekends and you don't work during the week. However, you're working for somebody else. So we have to change things. We have to change the environment of our mind. We have to change the environment of our body. We have to change the environment, especially of the heart. The heart outradiates the brain. This is why the people of ancient Egypt, when it came time to bury the body of a person within their civilization, within their culture, within their temple area, within their city, transitioned, they'd get rid of the brain and keep the heart. The heart is like the true brain. It's receiving and sending energy as well as blood, receiving an energy embedded in the blood throughout the body and picking up and distributing old energy, old blood cells out of the body to be pushed out of the body through urination or pooping. And if you're out in the heat too long, you start to sweat. Hey there, Golden Timeline. Hey, I like that name. Susan Solari, how you doing? Carry a pendulum. Susan Solari asks, how can you test whether the food you're eating out at a restaurant is energetically safe? Get yourself a pendulum and learn how to work with a pendulum. It's not that the pendulum tells you, it's your higher self expressing itself through your muscles and through the energetic nerve system of your body coming out through your fingers that moves the pendulum. When you can decide if the pendulum, what's yes for you and what's no for you, and if it stands still, you got to ask another kind of question. But when you can do those things and get accustomed with your pendulum is working for you, it's showing through you, your higher self talking through you, or as we'll as we'll talk, we'll tell you when I lived in New Jersey, worked in New Jersey. If I wanted to know if a building was okay for me to be in, I was so energized I would lay my hands on the building. Now, to the average person, they might say, "Is he sick? Is he well?" No, I would just casually look like I'm laying my hand on the building, and the vibration of the building would tell me if it's okay to eat there. The building would warm up to my hand. Oh, I can eat there. If it was cool or nothing, if I got nothing at all, I don't stay there. I don't try to have to figure it out. But you can just walk on the premise. You just come into a place and have your energy super high for yourself, Susan, and feel the vibration. And I mean, really feel it. And if you're dealing with spirit guides and ancestors around you all the time, they will tell you. Maybe you and Shimon want to go to your favorite spot, and your higher self is saying, "Not today." Or if you're going today, you better go at such and such a time, not before, not after, right in that 2 hour period. Or it might tell you, yeah, it's okay to be there, but the parking lot ain't cool. There's something going on in the parking lots. Don't do it. So you have to pay attention, like our ancestors did, to that deep, deep feeling. And when we pay attention to the deep feeling inside ourselves, we will know. You've heard of that point. Okay. Golden Timeline 711 says, my new work building is energetically dead. I am literally running hours. I can't, let me, running hours there when my required work hours are done. Yes. So places that we work on can impact us, can affect us. You want to create, if you can, the same energetic environment like you have in your home. Sometimes if you are very visual in your mind, you could in encase the area where you're going to be working at in a violet light, violet flame, a violet, without even saying the violet flame prayer of Saint Germain or anybody else. You can just say, take care of it for me. Those elements within that etheric flame will move from you to that location, and like a vacuum cleaner, like a mop, make it very sterile, antiseptic. So when you're there, you're not being drained by that energy. Right. So you send the vibration ahead of time in a new building. Because see, the thing is with buildings, there's hundreds of people in there. Some people are very positive, some people are neutral, some people are just angry all the time. And that's what you're contending with, the energy of other people. So you had to put out a grid of light around yourself, which is already there. You just invoke it, just call it up, and then it imbues your auric field with more positive energy and light so you can get through the day. You infuse your car, same way. If you got to take mass transportation, if your energy is strong enough, you infuse the entire block, 1 block radius, 2 block radius. Got to get on a subway, whole subway system radiating with energy. so you can get on there safely and get off safely, get to your destination safely. Same with a bus. We have to increase our energy so much so that other people aren't controlling the energy. Yeah. And so we have to always, yeah, that's what's in Montclair. We have to always do the things that we do. When we do the things that we do, we are better for it because we are making the energy stronger for ourselves. When we make the energy stronger for ourselves, then we get stronger and we stay stronger. So just keep in mind that today's topic was you don't have to be famous like Amos. You don't have to wait to become famous. Keep raising your vibration and use the key of compassion. That's one of your keys. Use grace. That's another one of your keys. Use unconditional love. That's another one of your keys. And imbue your space. Amp up your space around yourself and through you and your clothes. You see, you don't have to worry about changing the vibration of your clothing because it's all coming out of your pores, all of this energy. And it's impacting everything that you touch. Just like the childhood nursery rhyme or thing about Midas touch. Yeah, you're Midas. You got the touch. You got the golden flame. You got the energy. You're connected to divine source and can communicate directly with divine source. And therefore, everything you come in touch with takes on your energy. That's highly important. If your energy is out there enough like an umbrella, other people won't be able to invade your space. I had an incident that happened to me this morning. I was coming across the street from getting breakfast, and out of the corner of my eye, my spirit self said me, "There's somebody watching you." As I crossed the street, the person stayed across the street, but I could feel them through my body. And I'm saying, I wonder if it was the guy that was outside the breakfast place watching me when I went in. I was going to go through the gate where the cars go in at, but I was saying that, and my arms were full, so that's the thing. I didn't have something to carry stuff like I normally do. Then the problem arose when I got to shift things and put the key in the gate of the main entrance that I normally go through. The key wouldn't go in. I wasn't nervous. It's just like for some reason it wasn't going in. But as I turned the key all the way to the left, like I'm supposed to, put my foot between the gate and the frame, pulled it back, that guy had tiptoed and ran up so close behind me that he was through the gate before I was. And I said, "You don't live here." He said, "Oh, yes." I said, "I know you don't." I said, "I've been here long enough that I know everybody across all these buildings, and you do not live here. And you need to leave the premises, and you need to stop harassing seniors before you find yourself in a jam." Then I put that signal out where one of the maintenance crews was. Sure enough, as I went in, he walked between the walkways between the leasing office and my building. He knew I was watching him. So when he got down and around the corner to go to the right, which means he's going to come around from the other side, I met with the maintenance guy. And I said, "Hey, Juan, glad to see you back." See, "Yeah, I feel good and I feel great." I said, "There's a guy that doesn't even live here, pushed his way past me to get on the property. And if you go back, we're on the other side of building 3 where you just came through my building, you will see him. He's got a water bottle, he's got earplug listening to something in his ear. He doesn't live here." So he signaled another maintenance guy, and they hopped to it, and I could hear them say, "Off the premises or get arrested." This is how much we have to watch. And now that I'm a senior, I really have to watch. It's like I need eyes behind my head now. I have to increase my Tai Chi exercises again So I'm more sensitive to my environment. This is important because I have the passion to be compassionate. I have to look out not only for myself here, but for my fellow seniors. See, the guys, the male guys, they don't, they're like a little bit of macho, more macho than me. So it's not going to bother them. But what about the single women, elderly women who live here? There was one woman that came out with a robe and a pajamas. I said, you shouldn't even come out like that. Why not? I said, because there's a guy walking around here trying to get into this building, and he's going to see you. You're going to be too relaxed, and he's going to bowl over you like he did to me just a minute ago. And then once he gets in here, he's going to want to see where your apartment is. He's going to scope out where he can hide out at night. So, it's about looking after one another more so now than any other time. And now I understand why seniors act the way they did when I was younger. Why? Keeping an eye out on the neighborhood. It's funny because the apartment cop people that are here, the apartment cop people that are always, looking at everybody else, they were nowhere to be found. I ran into one early before I started the show. I said, "Did you notice the guy walking?" "Oh no, I was standing on my balcony. I thought he lived here." And that person has been living here 20 years, and the building complex has been here 22. She's been in the same apartment for 20 years. She knows everybody that comes and goes. But that one guy, it didn't signal to her that he did not live here. So, again, compassion will cause you to awaken on a whole nother level. Grace will show up as protection on a whole nother level. Why? Because with compassion, with grace, with peace, harmony, and happiness, unconditional love is a light within itself. And you must carry that light like a torch with inside yourself. And when you carry that light, you will supersede what your soul is and become what your higher self already is. So, are there any questions or comments before I sign off? Yeah, but my body had me in check seeing because I'm very observant of anything within 50 yards of me. See, I know there was another elder friend of mine. She lives in building 2. When she's out walking, she walks with her head down, looking at the ground. And I said, "Linda, Miss Linda, keep your head up. Don't just look at the ground. Pay attention to what's going on around you. Please." She's like myself. She's in her 70s. She said, "Well, I don't see anything." And that was like last year. And I said to her last year, we were like sitting around. I said, "See that person there?" She says, "Oh, I saw him. I thought he lived here." I says, "No, he probably followed you half the rest of the distance to see where you live. Now he notices you're talking to me." I said, "He's walking back and forth. I can guarantee you he's going to show up here at night looking for a way to get in." So sometimes we forget that we are being watched by other people. We have to pay attention. Those of you who drive cars have to be super, super attentive. Okay, Neptune transiting Pisces. And Neptune is the ruler of Pisces. So sometimes, if I'm not mistaken, fantasy thoughts, dreamy thoughts, our thoughts aren't on point, not paying attention. We have to start paying attention. And if we use compassion like passion, we will have more of that for our fellow beings around us. We will pay attention. We will think clearer. And we'll be able to think faster on our feet. We will do some immediate things. Anybody else has a comment or question? Thank you, Golden Timeline. Thank you also, Will Talk Entertainment and Susan Solari. Thank you so much. Deborah McQueen will see this little later if she's not watching right now. Yeah, our favorite Indian restaurant. Because Will Talk and I, when we both lived in the New York area, and I taught in Jersey, and he used to drive me around. He's one of my spiritual sons. We would stand in front of the restaurant, not just being influenced or impacted by the aroma of the food. We could feel the vibration of the place. And the minute we walked in, we said, "Oh yeah, this is good. We can come and have dinner before we go back home. We can have lunch, while we're chilling out." But it's things that, excuse me, that we things that we have to do for ourselves. Oh, you're welcome, Susan. Tell your husband Shimon I said hello. I happened to go on his Facebook page and I noticed he has the drawing I did of him holding his, I think, the cornet or the trumpet. Made me feel good. He put my artwork of him up there. Barbara Ewing says, "Oh yeah, yeah, I love your husband. He's a cool guy." Okay, Barbara Ewing says, "Devil's advocate. What does one do when allowing grace is challenging?" You call it up because it's actually all these things that we feel or have been taught at one time that are outside ourselves, these spirits outside ourselves. They're actually extensions of ourselves. So we were all born with grace. Grace is effortlessness, ease, comfort, non-challenging. Grace will take the hard edges of ourselves, smooth it out, and cause us to be, like I said in one of my classes that you took, causes us to be a living obelisk, a living antenna, a living generator. So much so that we are in communication with everything. See, the gentleman that rolled up on me like that directly behind me, he forgot. He didn't know that I knew he was there. It wasn't like I turned around and go, "Oh." I turned around and looked at him in the eye and said, "You do not live here." I didn't say it violently. I said it in a firm, unconditional tone. And of course, he walked through. "Yeah, I live here." Yeah, but he was met on the other side, and he was met with someone who who's a Leo, who puts a lot of fire out in their work because they have to. So, grace can begin to work for us when we realize we are already carrying grace inside of us. We carry compassion inside of us. We carry grace. We carry unconditional love. We carry integrity. We carry truth. And people who are the exact opposite of those things are carrying those things in opposition. Remember in one of the teachings I said, Reverend Ike said, "Let the feeling get the blessing." So if I didn't feel positive in the morning when I woke up, that encounter with that person could have turned negative for me. But because I was already overjoyed, I had a tune in my head that I was singing. I was opening myself up to, oh, Famous Amos is in my mind today. And he becomes the foundational part of my talk today for this podcast. Maybe before I get off, I'll do this with everybody who's listening, just in case we have some people replay this. And I just looked at the time. It was 44 minutes and 44 seconds. Now it's increasing. Wherever you are, just take a deep breath and put your focus on the inside of you, the center of your sternum. Behind there is your physical heart, and feel it as an energetic, throbbing heart. See it as something that is so large that you're on the inside of it. And see it like a golden pink light. Gold and pink fused together, a golden pink light. And as you tune into this energetic side of the heart chakra, it begins to open up around you like a flower. Imagine a pink rose and the petals fold down, curl down. And these petals, as they come down, they're not the only ones, because as they fold out on the outside, there's more on the inside coming up and folding out. And that all this energy is happening around you in this very moment. And you feel a sense of oneness. You feel a sense of energetic greatness. You feel a sense of greater awareness. And as you do this, you know that grace fulfills you, fills you up. And if grace is filling you up, so does unconditional love. And if unconditional love is filling you up, so is compassion. The joy of living inside of you has expanded beyond your wildest dreams of love, joy, happiness, success, better health, better worthiness, for better wealth, whatever that is to you, greater success and peace and harmony for you. And I just want you to repeat to yourself, I am like grace. I am the light of grace. I am the lantern, the lamp, and the torch of grace. I am the beacon light of grace. And my fuel is unconditional love. And my foundation is compassion. And everything that I do that brings peace, harmony, and happiness shall always come to pass. I affirm it to be true. I decree that it is true, and so it is. And I'm going to stop right there. You can replay this at any time. You can click the like button as many times as you want from different devices. That's helpful. You can join up, subscribe to Resonant Essentials. When Michelle comes on, she'll give you some greater updates. If you want to know what we're doing, go to our website page, www.resonantessentials.com, and you'll see what's going on in each calendar month, things that are happening. We got some exciting new things and some other practitioners popping on here. This is going to be an awesome month. Why? Because we're awesome people. This is going to be a fabulous month because each one of us is fabulous. This is going to be a divine grace month because we're all living beneath the aegis, which means the divine wings of divine grace. We're always going to be blessed. No matter where we are, no matter what we do, no matter what designs we have, whatever feelings we have, and our actions will always speak for ourselves. Thank you so much, Susan. You're uplifting too, just like everybody else that's here. And I'm glad that I'm making a difference in the world with this podcast here for Resident Essentials. This is Clear Blue Radiance. I'm the host and podcast creator here for Clear Blue Radiance, Brother Francis E. Revels Bay. If you need more information from me, email me at IAM, the letters IAM dot circle of grace one at gmail.com. Or you can go to my website and see what's cooking, www.circleofgrace1.us, with a single forward slash so it doesn't take you anyplace else. Take care now. I love everybody. See you next time. And remember, divine grace is a blessing as we're alive and well in the age of remembrance. Take care.